Our chalice is lit.
Why not every man?
Why not every man?
Why not every man?
Why not every man?
Did my Lord deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel? Did my Lord deliver Daniel? So why not every man? Did my Lord deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel? Did my Lord deliver Daniel? So why not every man?
He delivered Daniel from the lion's den.
Jonah from the belly of the whale.
And the Hebrew children from the fiery furnace.
Then why not every man? Why not every man? Did my Lord deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel, deliver Daniel? Did my Lord deliver Daniel? So why not every man? Why not every man? So why not every man?
The traditional African American spiritual, Didn't My Lord Deliver Daniel, brought me to tears the first time I heard it, and to this day is still known to do so. As a queer, BIPOC, young adult Unitarian Universalist, traumatized by both the religious and non-religious past experiences of my life, and as someone living with mental health challenges on the daily, I can't help but to question, why not everyone? Why not them? Why not me? Didn't my Lord deliver Daniel? Then why only a chosen and select few? Why do some get to feel welcomed and fully loved, but not others? It doesn't make sense. As Unitarian Universalists, our views of the Lord, of God, of the holy, of the divine vary greatly. But our commitment to a faith grounded in love should not. Yet sometimes our best intentions have been known to get in the way of such a promise and such a commitment. And despite our best intentions, we sometimes fall short on our promises of radical inclusiveness, of radical welcome, and of love. And when we do, two things are bound to happen. The first, and the ideal, being that we learn from our mistakes. We recovenant with ourselves and with each other as we strive to do better, to be better, moving forward. And the second, being that we get so caught up in the debate, in the problem, or in the challenge, and we do nothing. Covenant stays broken, division, pain, and heartbreak all but grow, and we lose the very ones who need us most of all. What we must remember is that as Unitarian Universalists, each person who chooses our faith does so on their own spiritual journey of discovery, one of healing, one of self and world transformation. And Unitarian Universalism is no easy faith. In fact, few have ever said it was. In the words of Charles Matthieu, he writes this when asked about Unitarian Universalism's way of ease. I assumed by the view that it is easy to be a Unitarian Universalist. It is as easy to be a Unitarian Universalist as it is to be persistent, courageous, and cautious. It is as easy to be a Unitarian Universalist as it is to search the murky waters of life without sure charts to guide us, or any guarantee that we will find a safe port to put down anchor. It is as easy to be a Unitarian Universalist as it is to overcome the natural fear of the unknown and venture forth with nothing to sustain us, save our zest for living, our hunger for new experience and knowledge. Our way of religion is not a way of ease. And so ends the quote. It is true that being a Unitarian Universalist is not a way of ease, and is challenging, that is for sure. But it is also true that our spirituality, that Unitarian Universalism, is at its best when everyone is welcome to join us on the journey of self-discovery and of healing, where they see themselves, their values, their beliefs, their cultures reflected in worship and in service. But what happens when we as Unitarian Universalists fall short on our covenant? What happens when we, a collective body of spiritual journeyers, are not in right relation with one another? And when those among us who hold one of, if not multiple, of the most marginalized identities, belong to some of the most marginalized communities, tell our collective body of spiritual journeyers that they do not always feel fully welcome, fully seen, fully heard, or like they even belong among us. What then? What now? Didn't my Lord deliver Daniel? Then why not everyone? Beloveds, this morning I do not have answers. I have reflections and questions. I have reflections on my experiences as a queer, BIPOC, young adult Unitarian Universalist. Reflections on my relationship with that of the divine, of God, and of the holy. And I have questions for each of us, though I'm not going to share those questions. Not here. Not now. we are not ready for questions. We need spiritual resourcing first. We need a foundation for our questions. We need to become in tune with life-giving love and life-sustaining love. That communities of color, that queer communities, that all marginalized communities know. Holding both the love of community and the pain of existing in a world that you do not know what's next. The pain of not knowing what is going to happen, or if today could be your last simply because of who you are. All wrapped up in a container of love. So, beloveds, settle in, rest here, but just for a moment, as we have so much ground to cover. Growing up as a religious kid in the South, having been raised Presbyterian in a member church of the PCUSA, my religious beliefs and experiences were much like those around me, my family, my friends, and my larger community. Religion was, and to this day is still, a pretty big part of who I am, though it has definitely evolved over the years as I have aged and experienced life. I came out as gay at around 12, and despite my age, it was liberating. I was free to be myself, and I was happy. And then the bullying started. Feeling lost and unsure of what to do, I turned to religion to help, only to find that I was not welcome, that I was not the child of God the church wanted me to be, and instead I was the gay outcast of Christianity. I was devastated. I ended up leaving the church and faith behind me, wanting absolutely nothing to do with it. I didn't need that sort of pain in my life. And for quite some time, I was completely agnostic, not giving religion neither here nor there. It didn't matter. It wasn't who I was. And then I started exploring some spiritualities on my own. I became pagan and then Christian again, and then wasn't quite sure where or who I was. And that's when I discovered Unitarian Universalism and knew that I could be who I needed to be in that moment. So now I am a mythic Christian, pagan, and humanist, all wrapped up in the container that is Unitarian Universalism. I'm a Unitarian Universalist who has been hurt by the religion of my childhood, by past experiences of my life. I am healing, I am growing, learning to love myself, and trying to find my place in this topsy-turvy journey that we call life. While in some ways I feel like I know who I am, in others I don't. And sometimes it's even in Unitarian Universalist spaces that my heart breaks. Unlike many young adult Unitarian Universalists, I didn't grow up UU, though I have to wonder, what would it be like if I had? I only came to the faith in 2017, after not having a spiritual home for quite a while. After after a upsetting outcome of the 2016 presidential election, I needed healing, and Unitarian Universalism is where I turned as I began that healing. So far in Unitarian Universalism, I have found a lot of healing, so much so that I've actually answered a call to ministry in it because I want to be a part of others' healing and see this faith as a powerful tool in healing when led courageously, authentically, and with love. But I'm still healing. And Unitarian Universalism has still hurt some along the way as well. It is hope because I know we can do better, because I know we want to draw the circle wider as we envision and live into the creation of a beloved community. But we aren't there yet. We aren't there yet. And as a queer BIPOC person within Unitarian Universalism, this pain and realization are very real for me. It is painful to feel like I always have to explain myself to the very people who say that we're fully welcoming, that we're radically inclusive, that say they get it. But so often, that's what I find myself doing. I find myself explaining my existence, where I'm coming from as a Unitarian Universalist in Unitarian Universalist spaces. And being honest, that's hard. It's painful. But it's a reality. And it's a reality I knew that I would face when answering a call to ministry in this faith. It's a reality that I knew that I would face in our congregations in claiming Unitarian Universalism. It's a reality that happens in my life outside of Unitarian Universalist spaces, and something I've navigated most of my adult life, and honestly, most of my childhood as well. However, this reality is also why I am called to Unitarian Universalism, why I am called to ministry within it, and why I want to lead religion, the Unitarian Universalist faith movement, into the future. Unitarian Universalism is a special faith. It's one where people of all religious backgrounds and none at all gather. It's one where people who are queer, non-binary, Black, Asian American, Pacific Islander, those with Latinx roots, people with both visible and non-visible disabilities, those with mental health challenges of different economic and socioeconomic standings, all gather, where they all come to seek the divine in whatever way feels right for them, where they all come seeking healing and community in hopes to be fully welcomed, seeking love above all else. Don't we owe it to ourselves, to all of those who gather with us now, to those who have gathered with us in the past, and to those who might gather with us in the future, to do better, to be better, to evolve, to grow, to change, to be involved in creating the version of Unitarian Universalism that we wish to see, grounded in love, radically changing the face of religion. Didn't my Lord deliver Daniel? Then why not everyone? Why not create a version of Unitarian Universalism where everyone is fully welcomed, fully heard, fully loved, where they can bring their true, authentic selves with them every single day and not have to worry about if they're going to misstep or if this part of their identity would be called into question. So, with all of this named and so much not named, I got to thinking, and when asked what a vocation in ministry means to me, I always answer something of the following. A vocation in ministry means being a voice for those and to those who cannot or have not yet found their voice, to those who long for a spiritual community, yet have been told that they do not belong at the altar of life, and they just want someone to tell them that they are not broken, that society is broken, and that they are welcome among us, just as they are, sacred and holy. So much has gone into this calling. Now, in my first semester of seminary at Meadville Lombard, I'm learning what it means to be a queer BIPOC faith leader in this movement of Unitarian Universalism. I am exploring my own spiritual practices, letting go of some of my past and bringing in new ones as they connect with who I am now. I have entered into unknown to me territory, though not fully unknown to my ancestors, to those ahead of me in their formation, ordinations, and ministries. And I recognize that I would not be the person I am today if not for those, if not for the people, current, past, who are my ancestors, who are those ahead of me on this journey, who have helped prepare and pave a way forward for me in leadership in this movement, for me to even claim Unitarian Universalism. I am so grateful for each and every one of them. So many people. The Reverend Hope Johnson comes to mind. Alondria Williams comes to mind. May both of these individuals rest in love, in power. May our witnessing be one of love. May it be profound and pathetic. May it be so bold as to welcome everyone, and I do mean everyone, so that each and every person who enters into Unitarian Universalist space knows that they can experience the divine, the holy, God, and love whenever and wherever they want, knowing that they can bring each and every part of themselves with them, that it will be held in love as we join in sacred community together. And so, in doing this, We need to recognize, in the words of the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, that we are the theological inheritors on teachings of universal salvation. There is no winnowing out the supposedly unworthy that can be named among us. It is our very Unitarian Universalism, our very universalism, that is at stake when we turn away from the impacts that our institutions have on the very communities that society encourages us to dehumanize and make small. And so, beloveds, may we continue to draw the circle wider and wider still, for there are so many outside of our Unitarian Universalist circles. May we embrace everyone once and for all. And can we build the beloved community and quit just talking about it? For the love of God, can we embrace everyone? How many more must suffer, feeling alone, unwanted, unloved, seeking healing, until we open our circles wide for all to join inside? I don't pray often, but when I do, I try to make it count. And so, beloveds, this is my prayer for us this morning. May the words reach deep into your mind. May it echo down into your soul, through your bones, right down to your very core. Lord, deliver me. Deliver me from pain, from fear, from isolation. Deliver me from epidemic racism, white supremacy culture, homophobia, and all other oppressions. Deliver me from the bonds of society that attempt every day to enslave my soul, that attempt every day to deny me my rights, that I, alongside others and with the help of my ancestors, have fought so long and so hard for. Give us the strength to use our voice as we dismantle racism and all oppressions, as we draw the circle wider and wider still, until it enfolds, until the whole world is wrapped up within it, and everyone is welcome among us. Oh Lord, deliver me, deliver them, deliver my siblings, our siblings, in pain, in hope, in love, as we draw the circle wider and wider still. This is my prayer for each of us. May it be so. Blessed be, Ashe, and Amen.